Today was the 31st of December 2023, obviously New Year's Eve. It is now 5 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of January 2024. And of course, as usual, I just wanted to talk about this day and also reflect on the year that I've just had whilst playing a bit of Minecraft in my style. So today I woke up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which was absolutely unforgivable. And if you guys watched my video 2 days ago, I'm not expecting that you have, but two videos ago I mentioned I was coming up with this new rule which stated where if I oversleep, then I pay my dad £50. I'm gonna start calling it the pussy bitch fee, or maybe just the bitch fee for short. I'd already come to terms with the fact that it wasn't a good idea to go to training today before work, since I knew I was going to be up extremely late. I didn't want to be falling asleep at work, or even worse, on the road, which was fair, but then I wanted to go for a run before work at least, and because I slept in so late, that was no longer possible. So I owe my dad a sum of £50, with the description of the bank transfer being bitch fee, and I will continue to do that every time I oversleep. I haven't sent it yet, but I will. And yeah, that's the way it's going to go now. I actually tried, in my head I was like, oh well, it's a one-off, but I said no, fuck this. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to disobey this rule that I literally just created. I overslept. It's time to pay up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to think what I want to do here. But yeah, so I want to kind of keep the shape of this cave. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And tomorrow, it's really late, you know. And I'm going straight back to the restaurant tomorrow. If I was to wake up early enough to go for a run, it would just suck. Maybe I'll go for a run after work. I don't know. But basically, I overslept today, and I owe my dad £10. He doesn't. I haven't told him about this. He's not expecting this. So it'll be funny when I pay him, and maybe he won't even check it. But you know, who knows? Whatever. I'm gonna send him that, so hopefully I eventually stop sleeping. Because to be honest, I kind of forgot. But all I do know is that I woke up at 2 feeling bloody well rested. But it wasn't worth it because I pussied out, basically. And we're not going to allow that any longer. So yeah, that's it. Woke up, and obviously my sister's like the manager at this restaurant, so I asked her, so hey, is it okay if I come in an hour later so I can actually make a meal before just going straight to work and having scraps of the food like some fucking badger? And she said yes. So I said, fantastic, I will be there at 2. No, 4. And once again, I mean, obviously I was needed today, but I wasn't needed at 4. Today it was very different. They had their regular... You know what, I'm going to mine today. Let me make my chest from first. They had their regular sittings, which was like probably like somewhat 12 to 4. And then after that, they closed up the entire thing. We had about an hour of break to get everything ready. And we had one sitting of tasters, like a 7-course sitting. And it was absolutely lovely, and the way it was presented was lovely. For a while, it didn't make sense to me, because my sister just said, because basically, in this restaurant, in this kind of cuisine, they have this folded napkin with a starter fork, a mains fork, a mains knife, and a starter knife in that order. And she told me to go and undo the entire napkins, and I was like, why? Nobody really explained to me this day, and I kind of learned as I was going along. I felt really silly. I hate feeling silly. I hate feeling incompetent. I really do. It's very rooted in me, because literally I've had teachers call me stupid and shit growing up, and I've always really pushed back against that and wanted to not be stupid. So I hate feeling stupid. I have these little teachers in the back of my mind calling me stupid when when I can't understand something. And yeah, I get really fucking pissed off with myself. Why can't I understand this? I need to do better, blah blah blah. And I do. It's not a bad thing to have. Um, so eventually, asking lots of questions, and people are very busy, and it's super annoying. You ask somebody a question, and they answer your question whilst walking away, but obviously it's a noisy restaurant, and you only heard about 1/3 of what they said. Um, and that's a huge problem for me. Like, okay, I didn't hear what you said. I can't ask you again because you're gone. Um, but yeah, it got very frustrating. I was getting very pissed off, and I mean, I handled it. You know, it was whatever. I ended up doing okay. So what happened after like the hour break? I was really thinking, why the fuck am I here? Why can I not have just turned up at 6? But I'm here anyway now. I really don't know why they keep calling me in at these weird times. They can honestly save money themselves because I'm getting paid this whole time. Really makes no sense. Anyway, somebody from the restaurant was leaving, and we gave him like a little present in that little break time. It's all lovely. And then we prepped everything, made sure everything was clean. There was live music coming in. They got ready. Fucking Elton John impersonator. I've actually worked at a restaurant before where he performed, and he's a bit of a grumpy fucker, that Elton John impersonator. But yeah, it was all right. Did all the cutlery, even more cutlery today, and how it worked was people sat down, they had their drinks, and then they go, "Would you like your nibbles?" It's just this is the gayest thing I've said all day. Would you like your nibbles? And they go, "Yes, actually." And then we give them this fucking bread and this other shit. Looked really nice actually. Um, and you know, it went like that, and then after that, we clear up that course, we send the next one, and then the next one, and so on. And myself and my colleague, prepared loads of cutlery, and I thought, yeah, that's probably fine for the night. We probably don't need to do any more. But about halfway through the service, it was all gone. I have no idea how. I don't know if somebody was dropping it or something, but we had none. And then I was polishing it, and then there was none left again. There was none in the kitchen. It was all out of circulation. I was like, how is this possible? We don't have enough cutlery for the people in the fucking restaurant. But we came for a solution, and we said, you know what, people with donuts are eating with forks. You can shove the spoon up your ass. Anyway, I haven't really thought out this chest room properly. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna freestyle this motherfucker. But yeah, basically, smashed that out, and um, before I knew it, all the food was done, but people were just hanging around, which is quite frustrating to be honest. Um, but obviously, as customer service, you have to put on a little smile and, oh no, it's fine. Please stay as long as you like, you fucking wanker. Um, oh fuck. And you know, yeah, it was a good laugh to be honest. Some of my colleagues were drinking, and it becomes. I mean, drunk people are fun until they're annoying. I'm pretty sure everybody can agree on that. I don't drink myself, and I never have, and I never will. But sometimes it's funny when your colleagues drink. It's more fun to be around them until they're annoying, and they did get annoying eventually. But for a while they were fun, and it helped me get through the night a little bit easier. Um, oh fuck. But yeah, basically, just carrying on, rinse and repeat, folding napkins, cleaning cutlery, and eventually everybody slowly started to leave. Um, I'm not making this very entertaining. I'm probably focusing too much on the game at the moment. But everybody started to filter out, and I shuffled them out, cleaned up, and I'd agreed with my sister's boyfriend that we'd smoke a cigar on New Year's, and we did. I've smoked one cigar previously, at my friend's wedding, and I got a little bit sick. It was my first cigar ever. I probably wasn't smoking it properly. Got a little bit sick, but this one was, I think it was a little bit lighter, a little bit less strong, and I actually really enjoyed this one. I still feel the taste of tobacco in my mouth now, but it's actually quite a nice taste. Before I didn't like it, but yeah, I quite like it now. And it's supposed to be good for you, like for your testosterone. After my first cigar on my friend's holiday, I was worried about like my lungs and shit and all that. Obviously, one cigar won't do anything, but I was a little bit worried on that side. And I ended up hitting my personal best for my running time when I came home 2 days later. So maybe that's coincidence, but I hear it's good for your testosterone, and you know, I'm sure that too much of anything's bad. But you know, I'm gonna experiment with cigars because I've started to quite enjoy them. And I got a fucking hell of a bargain. I got this decent sized cigar for 15 quid with a staff discount. Absolute bargain. So you'd be stupid to say no at that point. So yeah, enjoyed the cigar. Everybody around the table talking. Um, that wonderful girl that I've fallen head over heels for wasn't in today. Um, I'll be seeing her tomorrow, I think. And yeah, everybody left. I drove home, buzzing a little bit, feeling good, and I've now arrived home. Had some. I mean, first I bumped into my dad's girlfriend who lives with us, and she was really pissed off. So I'm not really sure what's happened. I think they might have got into a row, my dad and her. My dad was already in bed by the time I got in. I got in around 3. I don't really care, but I might ask my dad what happened tomorrow. Just come a little bit nosy. But yeah. I mean, I was talking to a lot of the bar staff because I was basically working on the bar a lot today, and I mean. Everybody in hospitality is a little bit fucked up. I spoke to this one guy, he did concern me a little bit. He kept saying he was depressed. I was like, yo, we're polishing glasses, and he was like really going deep, and I felt bad for him, you know. I hope he figures I hope he figures his way out, you know. Sweet guy. Um, so yeah, got home, and now I'm here basically. So that was really the day. Not too big. I'll just reflect on the year a little bit after I've killed this midget. He's run away. So yeah, this year, I remember I spent last New Year's Eve was quite cool. I spent it watching an MMA fight, or several MMA fights, at a promotion. My friends who I train with had won like a giveaway. They won 3 tickets, and they invited me out. It was really cool to watch. A lot of these MMA fights were very entertaining, and you got to admire the discipline because obviously these fighters have been cutting over Christmas, and I always admired that. Um, So yeah, I watched the MMA fight. Just about got back in time to go and see my girlfriend at the time, who was working in a restaurant for the countdown. I saw her for the countdown, and in the restaurant at the same time, I bumped into my old boss, who I used to do scaffolding, which in the UK seems to be different than it is everywhere else. We have these separate tubes and wooden planks that we put together. In like European countries and America, it seems like the frame's already formed, and you just put the platform across the frames. In the UK, it's very different. It's very fucking tough. Um, yeah, it's very tough, very hard work, and shit pay. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't recommend that anyone does scaffolding. It's, if you want to do the most work for the least pay, maybe try it out. But if you're sane, don't do it. It's fucking stupid. But yeah, I've realised I'm lost. So yeah, I met him. It was cool to see him. And since then, what have I done? 2023, I got a silver medal in my last blue belt competition, just fell short of gold. I'm talking about jiu-jitsu. I had achieved gold previously in other competitions, but I really wanted it because I went to Scotland to do this competition. I really wanted to achieve gold in my last one because I heard that my coach wanted to give me a purple belt. Just missed out on, I did actually have a triangle choke, but the guy just toughed it out and beat me on points. It was really annoying. Um, but yeah, I'd um, I'd got a job in this property auction house, which is an extremely interesting experience, and it was very I was very lucky to get the opportunity. Um, I also got fired in the same year. Got the job, got fired. Um, what did I learn? I learned a lot about the property uh, scene. I learned how dodgy the auction scene was and the property in general. Um, you have laws, but you have laws, you have ombudsman, but people still fucking do dodgy shit every day and make a lot of money from it as well. Um, I'd learned that office environments are fucking gay. I mean, when I did work experience in my dad's office, they have a lot of banter and a lot of jokes. They even go on holiday with each other when they have like annual leave. And I thought everywhere was like that, but I think my dad's extremely rare in an office. They're not usually like that. In my office, it was extremely dull. Not extremely dull, that's not fair. It was quite dull. Um, or maybe I'm just like, I don't know. But I didn't find it extremely stimulating with the people in there. Um, they were all like, they're all 30, but they acted way older. You know, it's quite fucking exhausting to be around. Um, they were lovely people, of course. I'm not saying they were bad people. They were lovely people, and they gave me a wonderful opportunity. But oh yeah, I also learned how to drive through that company. So previously, getting a job in property is extremely difficult without a driver's license. Somehow I managed it. Um, so I went to a networking meeting, and oh my god, I've missed out so much. So before any of this, I'd started my own company, and I was in because of my own company, I was going to lots of networking meetings to find clients. In the process of this, I'd bumped into somebody who really knew what they were talking about, and he kind of politely told me that starting a company with my level of knowledge is stupid. And initially, I thought, this guy, shut up, I'm not going to listen to this guy, I'm going to do my own thing. But after a while of trying it out, I mean, at that same meeting where he told me it was stupid, I met my first client for my company, and what I was doing is called deal sourcing, um, where you find a property for somebody who's looking to invest in property. You take their criteria down, what they're looking for, their price range, the area, and you find them properties to buy, and they'll get, and then usually the seller will give you a fee of that for helping them sell it. So kind of like an estate agent, but like a private estate agent. Um, Sorry, not the seller, the buyer gives you a fee of it. Um, and I actually found my first client at that same meeting, and I obviously made my company. I made this little sheet for him to fill out. He filled it out, and I found him a property. Put together this wonderful little document. Stayed up for a long time. I had one of my good friends help me out with the wording and the order of things. I'm still very proud of this document. I was really proud to send it to them. Uh, it all went great. I had a viewing booked and turned up to the viewing. They were still very interested in the property at the viewing, but it turned out that it was far too overpriced, and even if they offered well below the asking price, it would just about make sense. And then obviously contingencies you have to allow in for like any additional costs that you might expect to spend, any surprises in refurbing something. They decided that it wasn't going to work for them, and it was ridiculously overpriced. I do agree. And that property went on to be unsold for a long, long time until I think they dropped the price way more. Um, And yeah, so I mean, I learnt from that. I also learnt it was quite lazy, and I was basically just going on Rightmove everywhere that was actually already on the market, so nothing they couldn't do, and finding stuff. Um, I'd also before this, oh my god, I forgot. Before this, I'd went up to Manchester in February to do a property training course. This is around the time I was watching Alex Hormozy, and I still do watch Alex Hormozy. Around the time I was watching it, I discovered him, and he drills the idea into people's heads of invest in your own education. Don't invest in like index funds if you've only got like fucking £5,000. Invest in your education, and then invest in index funds when you've got a much larger net worth. So I did that, went to this course, I learned a lot. It was a wonderful course. On the way, I got to stop off at my grandmother's, which I haven't seen. Well, I have seen her, but I haven't been to her house in a long time. So I got to do that. It was a wonderful journey. I'd say I learned a lot, but to be honest, the information that he gave wasn't groundbreaking. It's kind of the same stuff he was teaching online anyway. It's a bit stupid. But, you know, I met some people there that I loosely keep in touch with. Obviously, they're on the same mission as me. And that they haven't been valuable contacts. Maybe they will become one day. I actually met one of them again to train jiu-jitsu. So that was cool, because he trains it too. Oh, I don't have the right pick for that. Yeah, so all was good. I also, when I went up to Manchester, I booked it all myself and obviously paid for it all myself, and I stayed in this fucking shitty Airbnb. I got catfished so hard. The pictures looked amazing, and it was so shit. I felt dirty falling asleep in the bed. Anyway, so yeah, so the bullet points, have educated myself in sort of courses. I got a really good job in like property auctions, learned a lot in property auctions, learned a lot about office and professional life. Mostly that I don't like it. Learned to drive. Had a relationship. I mean, the relationship started before this year, but it ended this year, and I learned a lot there. I learned that I didn't really like this girl that much. It was just, to be honest, it was just sex. She lived quite close, easy. And I'm an asshole for that, because I think she really liked me, and she deserves somebody who likes her the same back. But yeah, I'll try not to go into things like that again. And I mean, I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but if I was forced to say one, I would say I'm not going to be chasing girls anymore, because that is batty boy behaviour. Plus, I'm too good looking to chase girls. It's fucking gay. So, deleted Hinge, obviously already done that. And I say chasing girls. I'll make one exception for this one at the restaurant, though. Come on. I'm not really chasing her, but I don't know. What was I saying? See, I've lost my train of thought. She popped into my head. But yeah, had a relationship. When I first broke up with her, of course I was a little bit sad, and I remember I've said before, I'm blessed to have both my grandmothers, and they're honestly like yin and yang. One of them will tell me how she'll miss me, and she'll regret leaving me, and you're lovely. She's got a northern accent. You're lovely. She'll regret it. That's her loss. And obviously you want to hear that, and it makes you feel good hearing that for about 15 minutes, but then you feel sad again. And then when I went to see my other nan, who knew my ex-girlfriend better, she told me that I was a shit boyfriend, and she knew this was going to happen. And you feel attacked, and you feel shit, and you're like, why are you saying this? But when I took time and I thought about it, I was like, wow, actually, that was far more constructive than what my other gran said. Even though I love my other gran, it felt great to hear that. So that was far more constructive, because before, I guess I haven't mentioned, the reason why we broke up is because she went on holiday. Well, she went travelling. She used to hate when I say she's going on holiday. She went travelling, and I saw videos of her on her friend's story when she was like too close to boys. Like, obviously hugs are fine, but she was like hugging and leaning all over this boy. And I said, look, this isn't acceptable behaviour for someone who's in a relationship. If you want to behave like this, we're not going to continue. And then she decided to not continue. And I was like, shit. When we broke up, I was like, shit. So does this mean in any future relationships I get into that they would just decide to go abroad and just start being a hoe? And I'm really worried. But then my nan reminded me that I was a shit boyfriend, and if I was the best boyfriend to my ability, not even the best boyfriend ever, the best boyfriend that I was capable of being, which I definitely wasn't putting in that effort, but if I was, she probably wouldn't have left the country in the first place, because I realised I'm not going to go into her personal life, because this is my fucking journal, not hers. But I mean, at home, she didn't really like her mum that much. Her mum was a bit of a fucking bitch to her. Um, and I wasn't great to her. I wasn't like I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good. You know, I wasn't affectionate when the time was right. Um, I didn't really get her flowers. She always asked for flowers, and I just pushed back. I'm not getting you flowers because you're fucking asking for them. Obviously, she did stuff as well that I I I would disagree with, and she was bad as well in her own way. But you know, there was 100% stuff that I could have done far better. And when I realised this, I realised that I did have control, and it made me feel a lot better. So within like a week, I was feeling good about the whole thing. Not good, but I was feeling I could accept it. I was like, you know what, this is absolutely fine. Not all girls are going to do this. I was just a dickhead, and you know, actually, no wonder this happened. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. And with that whole clarity, that really helped me get over the situation and move on. Um, so after that, so that was a big like adult moment, you know, growing up. That was my first breakup. I was really late to have a girlfriend. Um, and that was it. Maybe that was probably another reason. I kind of rushed into it. I knew she really liked me, so I was like, fuck it. If I ask her out, it's instant yes. I could finally have a girlfriend. So, so that's what I did. And yeah, I mean, it was a fun ride. I wouldn't change a thing with it. And yeah, that's it. And so yeah, had the job, lost the job, learnt a lot. Had a girlfriend, lost a girlfriend, and you know, I don't regret any of that. I mean, I do regret the job slightly. I should have done stuff differently in the job. I'll talk about that in another episode because this is getting too long. Um, I mean, the job. I mean, no, I'll talk about that later. But one thing that I will always remember this for the rest of my life, and it does make me extremely sad. My good friend passed away this year. I used to play Minecraft with him. Um, Sometimes every day is certain periods. We kind of went through periods. We used to call each other like the winter friends, because when the winter came, he was more sociable. He would go out partying and all that shit. And I would just focus on training. And when the summer came, he'd go partying and all that. I'd focus on training. When the winter came, we would all obviously I'd still do my training, but some more gaming, and he would get out. We'd have our Minecraft realm. We shared a Minecraft realm together that I started back in like 2018, and we had this fucking amazing realm. I still have the realm. Maybe one day I'll do a little world tour, but it was honestly I really enjoyed playing with this guy. He was fantastic. I actually met him on holiday. Yeah, such a long time ago when we were so young, probably in like 2012, even earlier. I met him. Um, and then after that, so I remember I met him on holiday for the first year. Went home, lived our lives. The second year, we went back to the same place, and so did he. Met him again. I was like, oh wow, you're here again. That's great. We played Minecraft Pocket. There was this lovely pool, lovely weather. And what did we do? We sat inside playing Pocket Edition, and I wouldn't change a fucking thing. Um, and then the second year, I think our parents like linked up, got in touch, exchanged phone numbers, and then we met up in England. And then for a few years on the trot, we celebrated New Year's together. As he got older, he started to drink with his other mates at school, and he decided to spend his New Year's with those friends. And I won't lie, I was a little bit bitter about that because I love spending New Year's with him. And when I realised that he was like choosing just to get pissed over enjoying New Year's with me, I felt a little bit bitter. But at the end of the day, it's whatever he wants. And that does make me extremely sad too, because the last few years I'd always been like, "Yo, do you want to spend this New Year's together?" And he would kind of be like, "Yeah, kind of." And then as the time got closer, he just would stop responding to my texts and hang out with his mates and get pissed, which is, you know, it's up to him. But I really wish that he would have at least accepted one of those invites in the last few years, because we hadn't celebrated. I don't think we had the last New Year's we celebrated together was 2019. I don't even think I saw him in person after 20. I never saw him in person after COVID. We just played games after COVID, and we planned on meeting up, but never did. After then, And yeah, he passed away on the 29th of October this year, suddenly on his moped. And yeah, I've cried a lot this year. I used to I remember whenever I cried, I used to be like, wow, I haven't cried this for months this year, and be proud of it. And you know, I'm not quite on board with this whole um, men show your feelings stuff, because it's preached, but then when men do it, it's a different story. Um, I guess I don't know. I don't know. I'm not quite on board with it, because a lot of people say one thing, and then when men actually show their feelings, they I mean, nobody would admit it, but they're probably less respected when a man starts crying and breaking down in front of the other people, especially women. Um, why did I say that? Oh yeah, because of crying. Yeah. So I always used to be proud of myself for not crying. This year I've cried a lot, not in front of anyone. Well, actually, I did at the funeral, and I did almost when I visited the crash site. But yeah, I've cried a lot this year. I cried when I got fired because I kind of realised that um, these people that have been calling me a failure might be right, and in that moment they were right. Of course, I now have hopefully the rest of my life to prove them wrong, however long that may be. Um, yeah, this year I've cried a lot. I don't usually cry, so it's just been weird. But obviously, I feel like I can't fault myself for crying at the loss of my friend. Yeah, on the 29th of October. I learnt about it his mum texted me on the 30th, and I just stared at my phone for a really long time, and I kept reading the text over and over again, and I was like, have I misread this? I must have misread this, and unfortunately, I didn't. Um, a few weeks later after that, I went to see the crash site, and I visited his mum and his sisters, and it was such a weird atmosphere, you know. I could see his sisters they were talking about like what they wanted for lunch, and oh fucking hell. They'll talk about what they wanted for lunch and all this shit, but I could tell that they didn't give a fuck about what they wanted for lunch. I could look into their eyes and they had a little bit more on their mind than what they wanted for lunch. It was just, this whole situation is so sad. Um, and then I cried again when I found his crash site. Originally his mum asked me to visit them at their house first because it was only minutes walk away from their house. My friend was only 19, lived with his dad. Um, and I visited the. I mean, on the way to the house, I parked my car, and I just walked past all these flowers and pictures, and I just started crying then. And I managed to hold it together in front of his parents and sisters. But again, at the funeral, I was actually quite strong for the funeral until I opened up the booklet, and there was lots of pictures, and then I found me in there, and then I completely fucking lost it. And yeah, I keep feeling like someone's just playing a prank on me, and they're gonna jump out and be like, "Hey, make sure you appreciate your friends more. Here you go. You can have him back." But obviously, that's not gonna happen. Um, yeah, so that was a massive thing that happened this year. The loss of my dear friend, which I don't think I'll ever really get over that. And today, I didn't mention when I was talking about my day, but I mean, obviously, we celebrate the New Year's with each other, so that reminded me of him. The whole thing of like we're now leaving the year, kind of like leaving him behind. He's not coming with us to this new year. Also, Domino's. The work called in Domino's for our food, and we always love Domino's together. So much coming together reminded me of him. And after the countdown, everybody was all jumping and singing. I've never really been a dancer, but then I just had to take a moment to go outside, and I did cry a little bit. I didn't cry, just tears ran down my face, and I just held my cappuccino. No, actually, it was an espresso. Held my espresso fucking midnight, and yeah, it was just, yeah, it's just such a fucking shit situation, and yeah, I'll never get over that, I don't think. But yeah, so this year, just to re-summarize, um, tried my own business, not failed, but not succeeded. Learnt about my own business, learnt more about the property industry and how illegal so much of it is. Um, Lost a friend, lost a girlfriend, lost a job, and um, learned to drive. But yeah, I guess I don't want to say growth because it's a pretty fucking buzzword. Oh, growth, personal growth. Shut up. But yeah, I do feel like I've grown this year. Um, Not that like I don't know how to word it really, but I'm not completely dissatisfied with this year's outcome. Last year I sat and I wonder if I might publish my last year's video journal, but I think 2022 was a shit year for me. I basically just sat in this scaffolding and restaurant job and trained, and I didn't really get anywhere in any of my areas. My training stayed the same. My money went up a little bit, but not much for what I was working. So this year, I think was a massive like improvement from the things that I could control, even though I got fired from a job. But yeah, that's really it, a mini summarization of the year as well as the little daily report of my day today. That's it. Obviously, the goals for 2024 I haven't said, but I know, and you will hear them with me and how I act on these goals throughout the year. Very exciting.